was it you said, Johnny?
I said Dave Bowie, T-Rex.
Oh, Dave Bowie, yeah, fucking...
In the dazzling constellation of rock legends, David Bowie was the glitter-drenched alien who crash-landed in glam, waltzed through Seoul, discoed into Berlin, and somehow ended up serenading astronauts. But while fans worshipped Ziggy Stardust like a glam rock messiah, not everyone in the music world was swooning over his kaleidoscopic outfits and cosmic personas. Nope, some of his fellow musicians were secretly rolling their eyes harder than a goth at Coachella. In fact, 6 iconic artists reportedly couldn't stand the man who once wore a lightning bolt across his face and called it Tuesday. Their reasons? Everything from philosophical beef to personal betrayal to good old-fashioned jealousy wrapped in leather jackets and eyeliner. And no, this isn't your average schoolyard shade. This is decades-long, stadium-sized drama dressed in glitter and grudge. Today on Rock and Roast, we count down the 6 legendary artists who allegedly hated David Bowie's moonwalking guts. Buckle up, glam warriors. Things are about to get more chaotic than a band reunion tour in Vegas. Neil Young when flannel meets face paint. Coming in hot at number 6, we've got Neil Young, the grunge godfather before flannel was cool, and a man whose guitar solos could melt both faces and corporate greed. But apparently Neil wasn't strumming any love chords for David Bowie. Nope, the Canadian crooner allegedly saw Bowie's glitter-infused theatrics as everything wrong with rock music's glamification. While Neil was busy bleeding authenticity into his music, singing about heartaches, protest, and farm aid, Bowie was allegedly out there changing outfits more than a runway model on espresso. According to legendary rock scribbler Nick Kent, Neil once grumbled during a recording session that Bowie changes costumes more than he changes chords, which in rock terms is basically calling someone a karaoke drag act. Rumor has it that Young stormed out of a studio in 1976 after someone brought up Bowie's latest persona, muttering something about Halloween coming early. Ouch. For Neil, real music came from the gut, not a glitter box, and Bowie's elaborate stagecraft probably felt like jazz hands in a dive bar. But here's the twist. Despite the alleged shade, both men changed rock in their own right, one with a flannel shirt and harmonica, the other with a cosmic leotard and eyeliner sharper than your ex's clapbacks. Whether you side with cowboy chords or cosmic grooves, this feud proves that even in music, opposites don't always attract. They occasionally throw sonic tomatoes at each other backstage. Johnny Rotten, the punk who declared war on Ziggy. Sliding into the 5th spot on this glitter-drenched grudge parade is none other than Johnny Rotten, the snarling, spitting, and occasionally shirtless mouthpiece of the Sex Pistols, who reportedly saw David Bowie not as a fellow rebel, but as a rhinestone-encrusted corporate hologram sent to distract the masses from real anarchy. While Bowie was out there moonwalking across Mars in glitter boots, Rotten was kicking over amps and lighting Molotov cocktails made entirely of sarcasm and safety pins. According to multiple punk historians, and yes, that's a real job, Johnny Rotten once told music journalists that Bowie was just another rich rock star playing dress-up for teenagers, and nothing ticked off the godfather of British punk more than someone who made rebellion look tidy. Rotten allegedly believed Bowie had turned revolution into a costume party, complete with shoulder pads, space capes, and choreographed alien gestures. Things got extra spicy in 1978 at a London club, where Rotten supposedly interrupted a conversation just to yell, "Don't mention that corporate puppet in my presence." For those unfamiliar with British shade, that's basically the punk rock version of a slap with a velvet glove. He even accused Bowie of selling out before selling out was cool, a lyrical diss so savage it could have melted a safety pin. While Bowie aimed for the stars with theatrical grandeur and existential lyrics, Rotten was down in the gutter with 3 chords and a snarl, trying to burn the music industry to the ground. The irony, both of them became icons in their own right, Bowie with his space glam artistry and Rotten with his musical riot act, and whether or not Rotten's rage was rooted in ideology or just bad eyeliner envy remains one of punk history's glitteriest mysteries. But one thing for sure, if Bowie was the disco ball of rock, Rotten was the baseball bat aimed straight at it. Bob Dylan, the poet who side-eyed the chameleon. Crashing into the 4th slot of our Cosmic Clash countdown is none other than Bob Dylan, the Nobel Prize-winning troubadour whose lyrics could topple empires, mend hearts, and confuse entire college dorm rooms at 3 a.m. unlike Johnny Rotten's loud punk roar. Dylan's shade allegedly came wrapped in cryptic metaphors and harmonica solos, but make no mistake, this folk legend was no fan of David Bowie's glitter parade. According to rock biographer Clinton Halen, Dylan reportedly told Columbia Records executives in the early 1970s, "This English kid thinks copying my style makes him deep," which in troubadour speak is basically a verbal pie to the face. While Dylan's career was about constant reinvention through genuine personal transformation, each album like a diary entry scribbled on the back of a bus ticket, he allegedly saw Bowie's shape-shifting as something else entirely. Costume changes masquerading as enlightenment, Broadway wigs pretending to be burning truths. Industry insiders even claim Dylan refused to share a bill with Bowie during the Rolling Thunder Revue tour in 1975, allegedly telling organizers, "I don't perform with actors pretending to be musicians. That's folk singer shade with a capital harmonica." What particularly irked Dylan, friends say, was how Bowie's theatrics blurred the line between authenticity and artifice, turning serious songwriting into what Dylan reportedly called a graduate school theater project. In other words, while Dylan was trying to change the world one dusty verse at a time, Bowie was apparently moonwalking across the stage with a sparkle in his eye and a makeup kit in his back pocket. But here's the twist that makes this rivalry so delicious. Both men were master reinventors. One just did it with a battered guitar and a harmonica that sounded like heartbreak in a tin can, the other with a cosmic persona and boots taller than your rent. Whether Dylan's alleged disdain was pure purist philosophy or just glitter allergy, this feud adds another shimmering layer to Bowie's long history of rubbing musical legends the wrong way, literally and lyrically. Iggy Pop, from Berlin Bros to Backstage Blows. At number 2, we have a betrayal so juicy it could have been written by Shakespeare, if Shakespeare wore leather pants and stage dived into garbage cans. Iggy Pop, the unfiltered wild man of the Stooges and Punk's original chaos gremlin, didn't just dislike David Bowie. He allegedly turned from close collaborator to sworn nemesis faster than you can say lust for life. Their bromance began beautifully in 1976 when Bowie helped revive Iggy's career by producing The Idiot and Lust for Life during their infamous Berlin era, which included deep introspection, Cold War vibes, and possibly several bratwursts. But as the years rolled on, cracks began forming faster than hotel TV sets in a rockstar tantrum. According to punk historian Legs McNeil, Iggy felt like Bowie was less collaborator, more puppeteer, using Pop's raw energy like a science experiment while keeping his own hands glitter-free. The final breaking point reportedly came during a 1977 tour, when Iggy found out Bowie was collecting royalties and production credits that Pop believed he didn't earn. Witnesses claimed Iggy confronted him backstage and screamed, "You've been stealing my soul and selling it back to me as your artistic vision," which is probably the most poetic way anyone's ever started a rock beef. The emotional fallout was massive. Iggy began dismissing their collaborations in interviews and reportedly referred to Bowie as a vampire who feeds on other people's authenticity. Ouch. That's one way to end a friendship and possibly start a gothic novel. While the two eventually made peace years later, the Berlin-era wounds left scars on both men. For Iggy, Bowie's glitter-coated genius came at a cost, and that cost was trust. This wasn't just a creative split, it was the ultimate Berlin breakup, complete with eyeliner smears and broken microphones. John Lydon, the man who hated Bowie for a lifetime, and then some. Topping our list with the kind of fury normally reserved for cancelled gigs and overpriced pints is John Lydon, formerly Johnny Rot, permanently loud and reportedly David Bowie's most persistent hater. If Bowie was a cosmic shapeshifter armed with a saxophone and a dream, Lydon was a punk priest in Doc Martens screaming at the heavens, and he wasn't buying what Bowie was selling. According to multiple sources, including punk historian John Savage, Lydon never saw Bowie as an artistic visionary, but as a middle-class art student who convinced everyone he was dangerous, aka the musical version of that one kid in drama club who takes himself way too seriously. Lydon reportedly told journalists that Bowie represented everything real music was rebelling against, accusing him of rapping safe rebellion in glitter and selling it to comfortable audiences who liked their anarchy sanitized. What made Lydon's grudge legendary wasn't just its intensity, it was its longevity. While other feuds fizzled out with time or a collab album, Lydon's disdain allegedly endured for decades. Insiders claim he refused to appear on shows or panels where Bowie might show up, telling his management, "I won't share a stage with that fraud." That's commitment, petty, poetic punk commitment. Lydon even accused Bowie of transforming genuine working-class rage into market-friendly costume play. In his view, Bowie didn't just wear masks, he wore the revolution like a Halloween outfit. But here's the kicker. While Lydon raged against the glam machine, Bowie's influence quietly infiltrated every genre, including punk itself. So whether Lydon liked it or not, Ziggy had already crash-landed in punk's backyard and left stardust on the porch. And there you have it, rock fans and glitter skeptics alike. The 6 legendary musicians who allegedly couldn't stand David Bowie, each feud more dramatic than a band breakup in a reality show finale. From Neil Young's flannel rap folk fury to Johnny Rotten's full-throttle punk poetry slam, from Dylan's harmonica lace side-eye to Keith Richards' real rock-only manifesto, every artist brought their own brand of beautifully chaotic shade.